All praises, all praises, all praises to the heavenly, holy, almighty creator of infinity, eternity, the universe, the stars, the earth, the mountains, the oceans, the valleys, the seas, the clouds, all creeping things, humanity, and all there is. This is Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit. Happy, holy Sabbath family! Once again, we converge on our heavenly, holy convocation. We are here for the education and edification of the holy nation. We are at the transmission for the transition into the spiritual nature where we will receive the holiness of the word and the fire of the heat of the instructions of eternity. All praises. So we have exposed our cranial universes and bear forth our souls as we enter into this wonderful congregation amongst the brothers and sisters of the world, the melanated Moors, the original man and children of God, the sovereigns and sojourners, the copper-colored, the colored, the people of color, the aboriginals and indigenous, the natives, the Negroes, the niggas, the African Americans and blacks, the descendants of slaves and those conquered and colonized, and to the 12 tribes of the house of Israel scattered abroad to the four winds of the earth. My continuous petition and prayer for your care and safety. And we are here once again, family, with the 60th installment and gathering and episode of the Sabbath Wisdom series. It is a testimony to our duration and determination for our soul salvation with the expansion of the wisdom and the history of the holy hidden nation. All praises, and we shall continue, family, with the review of the royalty of our holy nation with the examination of the kings. And in this week's episode, we shall see the second captivity of our brethren of the nation. And we shall begin at the Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit channel standards in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore you sons of Jacob are not consumed. Followed by our second heavenly eternal standard in the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 8, in reference to the holy anointed Messiah, the wonderful, the counselor, the savior, the anointed, the King of Israel, whom the world refers to as Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever. And as we embark on this expressway to eternity and we strap on our sandals to soul salvation, we pay due homage to brother prophet Isaiah in his book and scroll of the 28th chapter, verses 9 through 11. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, and there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people. Ah, yes, and we are blessed as we come together in the peace and love and joy and warmth and wonderfulness of this assembly of consent for the coordinated care, concern, and compassion for the brethren and sisters of the world, and to give reverence and due honor and glory to the holy power for another 7 days of the gift of breath and life. And so, family, in this chapter of Kings, we see the northern tribes of our nation, of the 12 tribes of Israel, come into war and are now on a journey that is still contributing to the common day prophecy of the lost sheep, the lost tribes of the house of Israel. And here is the genesis of that becoming absorbed within the nations. And we shall begin in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 17, verse 1. In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea, the son of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. All right, family, we have our two kings, our dual lines of the house of Israel as well as the house of Judah, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. So Hoshea is now the king in reign over Samaria of the northern house. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore, the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. So, family, the king Hoshea conspired against Assyria and went and gave presents or tribute or taxes to them and not to the Assyrian king. And the Assyrian king came down and captured the king and put him in bonds. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan and in the cities of the Medes. All right, family. So in the 9th year of Hoshea being king of the northern tribes, the Assyrians came and took the city of Samaria and took the people of Israel away and placed them within 3 cities of the Assyrian territories. They have been expelled from their land. Verse 7. For so it was, and the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord, their God, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods. And he walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their God. And they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incenses in all the high places, as did the heathen, whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. So family, that's a summation, a synopsis as to the acts of the kings and the citizens of the northern kingdom of the tribes of Israel. They went into wicked idolatry and provoked the Lord, their God, who brought them out of the land of Egypt. Verse 12, for they served idols, whereof the Lord had said unto them, ye shall not do such a thing. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn you away from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks, like the neck of their fathers that did not believe in the Lord their God. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them that they should not do like them. And they left all the commandments of the Lord their God, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the hosts of heaven, and served Baal. And they caused their sons and daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them from out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. Also, Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Lord, and made them sin a great sin. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam which he did. They departed not from them, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants and prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria until this day. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cuthah, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sephraim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria, and dwelt in the cities thereof. So, family, the heathen were placed into the holy cities of the tribes of Israel, the northern kingdoms. Verse 25. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there, that they feared not the Lord. Therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spoke to the king of Assyria, saying, The nations which you have removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the God of the land. Therefore he sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land. Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, Carry there one of the priests whom you brought from there, and let them go and dwell there, and let them teach them the manner of the God of the land. Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear the Lord. Howbeit, every nation made gods of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made. Every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. And the men of Babylon made Succoth Benoth, and the men of Cuth made Nergal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Avites made Nibhaz and Tartak, and the Sepharvites burnt their children in the fire of Adramelech and Ananamelech, the gods of Sephraim. So they feared the Lord, and made unto themselves of the lowest of them priests of the high places, which sacrificed for them in the houses, in the high places. So family, these wicked heathens who are now residents of the cities of Samaria had set up their own gods and idols in the cities and worshiped them and made priesthoods to those idol gods. Verse 33, they feared the Lord and served their own gods, after the manner of the nations whom they carried away from there. Unto this day they do after the former manners. They fear not the Lord, neither do they after their statutes, or after their ordinances, or after the law and commandments which the Lord commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel. So that was a rebuke to the northern house of the nation family. Verse 35, with whom the Lord had made a covenant and charged them, saying, you shall not fear other gods, nor bow yourselves down to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them. But the Lord who brought you up out of the land of Egypt with great power and a stretched out arm, him shall you fear, and him shall you worship, and to him shall you do sacrifice. And the statutes and the ordinances and the law and the commandment which he wrote for you, you shall observe to do forevermore, and you shall not fear other gods. And the covenant that I made with you, you shall not forget, neither shall you fear other gods. But the Lord your God you shall fear, and he shall deliver you out of the hand of your enemies. Howbeit, they did not listen, but they did after their former manner. So these nations feared the Lord and served their graven images, both their children and their children's children, as did their fathers, so do they unto this day. Family. And that was our brothers of the northern tribes who were taken away into captivity, bondage, slavery, into the cities of the Assyrian territories or empire. And they were replaced with heathens who brought in wickedness into the land. And they brought one of our priests back to teach them how to live there. And the northern children of the house of Israel, those tribes, they didn't come back. They weren't able to serve the God of their fathers, the God who brought them out of Egypt in their land anymore unto this day. Family, that is our history. So-called African American history, so-called Black history, so-called history for the descendants of those enslaved, conquered, and colonized. That is who we are. The northern and southern kingdoms of the 12 tribes of the house of Israel. And so, family, we shall continue with the expansion and the understanding of our true history, heritage, and identity. And we shall continue as we pay due honor and homage on this holy Sabbath day. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verses 6 through 9. For we are a holy people unto the Lord our God. The Lord our God has chosen us to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love upon us, nor choose us because we were more in number than any people, for we were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loved us, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn to our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has the Lord brought us out with a mighty hand and redeemed us out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Verse 9. Know therefore that the Lord our God, he is God, the faithful God, which keeps covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations.